And a very good evening to you, and welcome to Politics 101. It's been quite a week or thereabout now. Last Tuesday, we had Thursday off because people had to go off to do their Thanksgiving stuff and so on. And I visited with my relatives in Maryland. I hadn't seen them for a little while because, the pandemic curtailed travel and so on. So it was good to catch up with my mother and my sisters, brothers, nephews, nieces, as we say, the old tribe there in Maryland. I had a good couple of days, hanging out, catching up, doing the stuff that family do around this time. We West Indians, we adopt. For us, it's not the meaning of Thanksgiving, but the opportunity for family to get together and do all that stuff. So I really really had a good time with my relatives and so forth. I want to shout out to them and to say thanks. Thanks for having me there. And I trust that those of you in the United States had a good time with family. And people travel. It's always a difficulty traveling in these times because although there's been some break in the intensity of the COVID-19 thing, it's not gone. It's not gone, we are hearing today of another strain in Africa and other parts of Europe, and we have to keep our fingers crossed. We have to keep our fingers crossed in these serious times. So I want to welcome you all. I want to welcome you all back again to Politics 101. I don't have to tell you what to do. You guys know that you have to share the link and do all those things that you do so that we can have our program tonight. And the topic of the program tonight is that I owe no apology. I make no apology for saying to people to support your own first. Support your own first. Last week we had that program in which I talked about the nature of our political economy and the way in which our political economy is compartmentalized, and we live in our separate communities. And so therefore, there are questions which arise out of that we have to deal with. And there was a big uproar over my comments and so forth. I noticed they've eased off of it very quickly because it's nonsensical, but we're in what they call the silly season, and when there's a silly season, people do silliness. So welcome to Politics 101. I want to welcome everybody. We're family here. of course. We are friends, we are comrades, we are brothers and sisters here together. We are doing what we have to do because the times require us to do what we are doing. So thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for tuning in to Politics 101. And I want to thank Cam's TV, Jackie Amsterdam, for making it possible for us to use this platform to do our work. And I say it's work because it is indeed work. And, we've got to do what we've got to do. It is important for us to do what we've got to do. So thanks to Cam's TV. Thanks to my producer, Andrew Weeks, who does all the work behind the scenes for me. And Andrew has been nominated to run for a seat on the Central Executive. Here is the poster up there to run for a seat in the Central Executive. Those of you who are viewing the program, delegates who are going to the PNC Congress, Andrew is up, and I've been working with Andrew very closely for the last year, and before that, I've known him for a long time. He served as a councillor on the neighborhood council on the East Coast there, and he's a media guy. He brings a lot of experience. So if there are delegates out there, Andrew is running, consider him as someone that you can vote for as a member of the PNC Central Executive. They are young people. I know a lot of people are talking about young people getting into the race and becoming the executive becoming members of the executive of the PNC. And Andrew is a relatively young man. So that's somebody that you can look at. I'm not a member of the PNC, and I cannot endorse candidates at all, but I go that extra step because, like I said, Andrew helps to produce my program. He produces the program, and we work very closely. And he's a friend and brother. And, I think he will make a good member of the Central Executive of the PNC. So, delegates, if you're viewing, you're listening, remember that name, Andrew Weeks. Andrew Weeks. Andrew Weeks. Yes, so here we are. Here we are. Lots has been happening. Lots have been happening. A lot of news. As I said last week, we were on this program, and I was giving my take on the 7%. The 7% that was announced by the government. And my position was very clear that the government was being discriminatory. There are different groups in society. The government came to power and it gave a lot of tax breaks, a lot of tax holidays, a lot of goodies in that first budget and the second budget to the business class. The business class. The big business. It gave them a lot of money, a lot of breaks. And we know that that class is dominated by our Portuguese brothers, sisters, and our Indian brothers and sisters. They dominate. the commercial class. And when the government came in, the government gave that class a lot of money to begin with. And then flood relief, we had the floods, and the government gave out another big set of money to farmers who were affected by the floods. To farmers who were affected by the floods, a lot of money, we don't even know what's that price tag yet. And that group was a group mainly of our East Indian brothers and sisters. And then another big set of money was given out to sugar workers who were severed from the sugar industry. Remember, about 4,000 workers were laid off as a result, severed as a result of the downsizing or right sizing of the sugar industry. They were given their benefits, full benefits. They were paid interest and everything. And the government came in and the government said, look, we're going to give you another $250,000, $250,000 on top of your severance. And we know that the majority of those sugar workers were Indian Guyanese. So you have three big payouts. And in each category, our Indian Guyanese brothers and sisters dominated, and the Portuguese also dominated the business sector. African Guyanese, who make up almost half of the population, they dominate the public service. They work in the government services. They work in the ministries. They work in the hospitals. They're nurses. They're doctors. They work as teachers, mainly. A lot of them are teachers. They work as policemen and women. And so that is a group that we refer to as the public servants, the public service. It's time to give them a payout. The government gives them 7% of what they're now earning. We know that the wages in the public sector are generally low. Starting up salary is $60,000, $55,000, $70,000. The average teacher earning $100,000, and some of them, depending on their rank, may earn a little bit more. But the average wage of the public servants, $100,000 or thereabout. And so the government decided they're going to give them a 7% of that, which means if you're earning $100,000, you get a $7,000. And they give them that over 2 years. So basically, it's half of the 7,000 they're giving them, which is 35. If you earning $100,000, is $3,500. And when Winston Jordan was in this program last week, he broke it down. And so each public servant is going to end up getting, over the 2 years, with this little money that they're giving them, about 25 cents US per day, which is about 50-something cents or thereabout. That's what they're going to get. So there is the big money going to the business sector, the big money going to the farmers for flood relief, the big money going to the sugar workers on top of their severance pay. And then when you come to give the predominantly African public servant, you give them a little money. It's not even a little raise. Because a little raise, assume you're getting a raise, and then you get a little raise. It's not even a small piece. It's not even a freck. And so that is clear discrimination. Clear discrimination. Now, if you give away all the money, all all the taxes that the rich people are supposed to pay. You exempt them from all those taxes. It means that revenues from taxes are not coming in. So the monies that you supposed to give to the public servants based on taxes coming in, these people are running government. So government has to pay them. Where does government get money from? Taxes. If you exempt your big friends who help you to come to power from your taxes, from paying the taxes, means that you don't have money to pay your workers who are working for you. And then the little of the money that you get, you give it away to the several sugar workers, you give it away to the farmers. So of course, you don't have any money to pay the people working for you, the public servants. You're broke. But wait a minute, you're not broke. You get 500 and something million US dollars sitting in a bank. And if you believe that these public servants are people too, you would say, shucks, give away the taxes to all my friends them. I give away to the sugar workers, I give away to the farmers. I got to give these people something. Let me go in the kakada. Let me go in the money that they in the bank there and take out a little money from there to give these people as much money as I give to the others, or at least give them something that is livable and decent. No, they're not worth it. First of all, when you're giving away the money to your friends, them, you give away money to your friends, them, you weren't thinking about them. Oh, Gary said, why do I keep calling these people our Indian brothers and sisters, even though they keep disrespecting and degrading us? I deal with that. They are our brothers and sisters, but I understand. I understand how you feel and how others feel. But you see, Gary, I always believe that as a people we have to set an example of humanity. I'm going to come to that first. I'm glad you raised it, my brother. And I see my sister Raquel from Brooklyn, Rocky, Bostonian. You know, there's plenty on this program, and I don't know they're on. So, like Rocky, welcome onto the program. And Gary, yes, I hear you, but I'm coming to that. So, they give them the ice pass public servants, the ice pass black people. We don't matter. These other groups matter. We don't. And so therefore, last week I said, look, we complain, but we have to do more than complaining. We protest, we have to do more than protest. So I said there's some practical things that we can do. And one of the practical things that we can do is to decide where and how we're going to spend our money. If they ain't giving us money in the first place, it means for Christmas, we got to go into savings, or we got to go into money that we family sent from overseas. And so therefore, we have to be sensible about where we spend our money, how we spend our money. And I said that those big business who give the money that they're supposed to pay the public servants, give that money to the big business by saying to them, don't pay taxes. Because we are depending on those taxes to pay the public servants. And since you give those people the big money, it's our money you give them, then we should not be spending money on those people. Those big businesses, we should not be spending our money there. Not only they take the money willingly, but when the government is overreaching, they don't come out and say to the government, look, man, you can't do that. Look, we just hear from the private sector over the last couple of days. What do we hear from the private sector? Go and jail Mark Benchop. Go and jail Sharon. Go and jail these people because they're telling people to burn down Guyana. That is what the private sector is into. The private sector does not come out and say, Mr. Government, what you give to those black servants is a pittance. No, you have to do better. No. The private sector coming out and telling the government to jail me. So I said last week, do not spend our money at those people's businesses if we can help it. There are instances where we can't help it. We have to go there and shop. But insofar as we can help it, do not spend our money on these people who are enabling the government to commit economic violence against us. You don't have to go up in the backyard. You don't have to go and stand up in the public space. In your private moment, going about your business, decide where you're spending the money. And I am suggesting to you that those big businesses that have benefited from government largesse, and as a result of that, the government can't get money to pay public servants. Don't spend your money at their business. Do not. Do not spend your money at their businesses if you can help it. Maybe there are things that they are selling that you definitely need. You can go there and spend it, yes. But if you can help it, don't go and spend your money on their business. I think it's a fair thing. It's a just thing. I also said, and I'm repeating it here, that look, they got poor Indian people who just sell things. They vote for the PPP. Some of them are themselves racist against black people, but look, they're poor Indians. And the Marxist in me says that, look, the working class should not be punished. And so therefore I said on this program that the boycott should not be extended to the poor Indians. A lot of you didn't agree with me. And I said, let us agree to disagree. That my politics is not just about race, it's also about social class. And that poor Indians are not the ones who are directly enabling the PPP government. They don't have an impact on PPP policy. And I don't think that they should be punished. And so therefore I'm saying that the boycott should not be extended to them. Some of you disagree, and I said, okay, that's okay. We can agree to disagree. But I said in relation to poor Indians, is that while I'm saying you can buy from them, you ought not to be buying from them what you produce in your own village. You have no business going to the market in another village and buying things which people are selling in your village. And I give the example of black pudding. What are you doing at Mondipo buying black pudding from other people when black pudding is selling at every corner in your village? Do you really believe Mr. Prasad or Miss Duki will leave and more and go to Golden Grove or Buxton for buy dal and rice, or for buy mutton curry, or for buy duck curry? You think Mr. Shah will leave Monrepo Do you think Miss Prasad will leave Monrepo to go to BV for buy dal and rice, for buy roti and curry? No, they're buying that in their own villages. The Indian sister, Indian brother will go to Buxton to buy black pudding or cocoa rice that they don't produce in their village, that they don't sell in their village. They don't come at we shop for buy dal and rice and to buy mutton curry. They are not integrating their money. Why do we have to integrate our money? Yes, if our Indian brothers and sisters were to say, I'm looking for the sweetest dal and rice or the sweetest duck curry, and in a selling Buxton, I'm going to let me live and go to Buxton to buy duck curry. Yes, then I would say we can go over and buy from them, but no. They don't leave their duck curry and their fancy Indian meals in their community and then come to buy that in our community. No, they don't do that. And I am just saying to you all, support your own vendors. That lady who's selling black pudding in Buxton or selling cassava pone, that lady got children to feed. Why are you leaving her and going over somewhere else to buy what she's selling? Even if she's selling for a couple dollars more, the money you're going to pay in taxi to go the next thing, it's best you give her that little extra that she's calling for. Oh, Jesus Christ. Who tell David I ain't successor? Next thing I know, a minister inbox me or tag me or whatever they call the thing. They take out a little piece what tag about black pudding and put it, David Hinds is being racist. And they circulate it. And then the bad fashion friend that I used to have named Freddie Kisoon, he see it and write a whole column. Tell David Hinds he's a racist. Call his workplace and tell them that he's a racist. And Ronald Waddle did that because Ronald Waddle was being a racist, and he, David Hinds, is Ronald Waddle too. So he's insinuating that they should kill me. All because I said to black people, buy black in your own village. You all ever believe what you all hearing? All of a sudden, telling black people to buy black men in their own village, and by extension, telling Indian people to buy ayodal and rice in your own village, that has now become a crime. David Hinds, the racist, Jerry, kill him, Akanjo Freddy, kill him. Call his workplace and tell them that he's a racist and send the racism to them, let us see what he did. That is what we've become in Guyana. That is what we've become in Guyana. No, I don't worry with our Indian brothers and sisters when they say black people are racist, David Hinds are racist, this body is a racist. They don't even worry about what the meaning of racism. They don't worry. They don't worry about what the meaning of racism. What they really mean is that David Hinds is taking money out of we pocket. David Hinds is telling his black brothers and sisters, put the money in black people pocket. And we are vexed with him because he's telling them not to put money in we pocket. What is that thing doing on the screen? Ronaldo Pearson or whatever. Yes. That is what they're vexed about. They think we are Paku, so they can do what they want to. The government can do what they want to do. We're going to go and put we money in the pocket and leave our own people pocket empty. So that's what it vexed with me for. You know, our brothers and sisters on that side, the minute you go against the government, you're racist. The minute you this, you're a racist. Our Indian Guyanese brothers and sisters have become so they've made that word racist into a nothing. Everything for them is since you open your mouth, you're a racist. You wear a dashiki, you're a racist. You say black people, you're a racist. Everything for them, for us black people, is a racist. What they mean is that we are damn fools. That's what they mean. They don't realize. David Hinds has never in his life, never in my life, preached black superiority. Never. Never preached black superiority. I don't believe it, and I've never preached it and will never preach it, and I've never encouraged black people to. That is what racism is. When you believe your race is superior, yet those people, everything you say African Guyanese, you're a racist. So they really don't believe that. What they really mean is that David Hinds putting sense in black people's head. And for that he must be killed. For that he must be jailed. For that he must be called all kind of bad name. That is what they mean. They don't mind believing that we are inferior. They know that we money is not inferior. Why we money? We are inferior. But we money they want. And so they're angry with me because I dare to say to you all black people, keep your money in your village. Only spend it outside if you have to. Keep your money in your group. You only spend it outside if you have to. I didn't make Guyana into the ethnically compartmentalized society it is. I didn't. It is, I born and meet it. I would like it to get better, but until it gets better, we gotta survive. And people are not putting money in we pocket. Why should we put money in other people's pocket? People are coming to sell at we market. Come on, sisters and brothers. That is what they're angry with me for. Because I dare to say, do not buy from them if you don't have to. Christmas is coming. I repeat it here tonight. Do not buy from those big businesses who have benefited from the money that the government should have used to pay public servants. The taxes that they should be collecting from those big businesses. They're not collecting it from those big businesses. They're not collecting it from those big businesses. And so therefore, they don't have any money to pay public servants. And so the little money that we save, or we family sending for we must be sensible about spending it. Do not spend it on those businesses. And further, do not spend in other communities on things that you community producing. Support your own. First. I'm not saying don't support that one Freddie. My sister used to make black pudding and sell. Why David Hinds believe that Indian people must not make black pudding? That guy, David Hinds said that Indian people, well, if Indian people want to make black pudding and sell in their Indian communities, that's their business, that's their right. Black people just make Indian food and sell it in their own communities. Indian people can make black pudding and sell in their own communities. But Freddie, as usual, he's such a gossip. Somebody sent something to Ian, do no research. David Hinds sent out a video. David Hinds do his show, and they took out half a second of 2 hour show and send it to Freddie. And he said, oh, kill him for this. Tell him that they kill Wanel Wadu. Jail him. Call Yeti workplace on Arasi. How dare he say that? But you know what? I have no apology to Freddie or any of the other people. And I'm repeating it here tonight. As if they didn't hear it before, I'm repeating it here tonight. African Guyanese, black people, do not spend your money at big businesses if you don't have to. Let me stress here tonight. Those big businesses are not just the Indian big businesses, they're black people big businesses who siding with the PPP to oppress you. Don't buy from their big businesses. Let me extend the net little tonight. I sat the other night and saw a certain minister coming to me. Ramson said that black people don't got role models, and he see father dress up in suit and tie, and black people don't got role models, and they want to create role models for we. They want to create a class of money homes and set them up as a role model. And I see the owner of a radio station shaking the head. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, Sahib. Yes, Sahib. Yes, better, you're right. Big businesses like that should feel the way to is. Look, I love those brothers at Hits and Jams. I love them. I've been to that radio station many times. But if they're moving like how they're moving now, I gotta say, brothers, David Hinds got to ask people to manage you all. But the big business is not just the Indian-owned big business, but the Portuguese-owned big business and the black-owned big business. That join with the PPP to oppress us. So you all send out another video. Whoever does thing, listen. They're monitoring these programs now, you know. The government, they're paying people money, and they maybe young people who are right now monitoring this program, and I want to say good night to them. Good night, monitors, and I'm glad to have you all. I'm a teacher, and I like to teach, and I'm glad that you all are on, and I hope you all will learn a few things. I hope you all will learn a few things. Do you all work monitor? I have nothing to hide. What I'm saying here is what I would have said in the Stabrook News or the Chronicle or any one of them. I'm saying it here because I can't say it there. I have nothing to hide. All right? All I do on this program is that I try to organize our people. I try to learn from them. I try to teach them what I can. And I try to mobilize so that we can stand up against those who would like to trample us. And if they send you all to monitor this program, thanks for coming and monitor. So that you all will learn while you're monitoring, and they will learn. You know what? A year ago when they took power, we had no outlet to express our views. The newspapers all sided with the PPP, and they have to bring them to power. Somebody like myself went from being quoted 2-3 times a week in, you know, Kaitro News and Stabrook News and the Chronicle to being shut out. They wouldn't publish a letter from me. And so I decided I got something to say. And I'm going to create my own program and say what I have to say. And when my brothers on the other programs ask me to come on, I will go on and say what I have to say. And they have about 4, 5, 6 of us on a daily basis, creating alternative means of communication. And at first they say, look at them, they're up on Facebook. 1 year later, we have become the opposition to them. The organized political opposition is doing what it is doing. They're working against constraints. They're politicians. They have to mind them out. They have to mind what they say. I'm saying tonight that 15 months after the install regime, in the ring, Mark Benshop, Bostonian Morning Time, Rickford Burke program, Gavin Matthews program, Politics 101. I hope I'm not missing anybody. The APNU boys that do their program. We are the true opposition. And they've come now to realize that we are the true opposition. So they're now trying to kill us out. They're now sending people to monitor us. Every time a fire in Guyana is weak as the fire. Every time a hole bored in a road in Guyana is weak as the board. Every time a thief man commit a crime, is we send the thief man. What happening in Guyana now is those guys on social media. What they really mean, let me interpret for you what they really mean. What they really mean is that the only true opposition in Guyana are those guys. That's what they mean. That's what they mean. We are bringing you information. Not only information, we are bringing it to you in real time. We are bringing you analysis. We are preempting them. We are exposing them. We are the true opposition. And they now know it. So now all government resources are put. So they have people right now monitoring this program. And they're making assumptions about us. We preaching violence. We dividing Guyana. We doing this. We doing that. When these people were hammering us, when Nandalal went to New York and said they got no opposition, they're begging the PNC to give them the opposition. He went to New York and said that. Now you get opposition in your tail. Don't complain. Take it. Take your blows. When you all were being installed, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, who was one of your chief installers, tell we, take your licks like a man. Ralph, I'm telling your friends them tonight, take you all licks like a man. I tell him that you keep the money in the pocket while you vex, because you all want the money to get rich or to get more rich. The government already give you money. You get rich with that. Leave our money in our communities. They're so stupid. Stupid, there's a certain level of lack of inquisitiveness. David Hinds was at Monrepo Market and he saw a crowd and he went over. Well, in the first place, what was David Hinds doing at Monrepo Market? Oh, David Hinds is buying from Indian people? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. They're so stupid. This racist is at Monrepo Market buying. But you see, they didn't notice that. They noticed that. Yes, I do. I do shop at Indian markets. I do. They think that I can get in black community and sell at Indian markets. I do. As the people at Lusington Market, which is one market I go more often than others, it's near to Buxton. Plattans Market, I go there. Ask them. They will tell you Dr. Hinds buy from Indian people. So the foolishness you all going wrong say he's a racist and he's this. In fact, I went to Lusington Market. One day I was there, and the vendors recognized me, and they said, Dr. Hinds, black people not coming to buy from us. Oh, we support this government, but when we were supporting them, we didn't know this is what would happen. They were telling me that in August. I think I said it on the program. And they said, no, black people don't get money, or black people decide that our government doing them bad, so they not come for buy from us. That's what the Indian vendors told me at Lusington Market. And one lady was there. When she recognized me, she said, oh God, that is not a man that's there on TV with him, Hinds. And they said, a man a racist. Look at the man there buy from Kuli people. Yes, I do buy from Indian people. I do. We do. We black people do. And yet we are the ones that you always call racist. We buy more from Indians than Indians buy from us. And I'm not beating up Indians for that. All I'm saying is that when we decide we are only going to buy from you what we don't have in our communities, why you want to jail me for that? Why you want to jail me for that? Yes, the lady said, oh my God. Oh, they said this buy not like Kuli. Look at this man there buy from Kuli people. So that's the world we live in. So those who are monitoring us tonight, I thank you all for coming to the program. All the Indian brothers and sisters who are on this program, I thank you all for coming on the program, because my fight is not against Indian people. But Marley said, I and I not come to fight flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high and low places. That's my fight. My fight is not against Indian people. My fight is not against Indian people. You must recognize that their fight is not black people against black people. And I am not going to preach punishing of Indian people because they vote for the PPP, but the PPP punish black people because they vote for the ANC coalition. They're giving them 7% because they vote for the coalition. And they're giving other people a big percent. My fight is not against Indian people, has never been. Indian people don't make policy. Average Indian brother and sister. My fight is against spiritual and political wickedness in high and low places. And I don't come to fight no flesh and blood. The PPP is never going to tell our truth for us. We got to tell our truth. Yes, he was never your friend. He's called stop calling a friend. I see the man right there today or yesterday. Oh, when they beat you up one night, and me and my daughter, we drove behind him to the police station, and while he was in the police station, we went away. I mean, Freddie is such. I sometimes I wonder what has gone wrong with that guy. You know, that guy was there. We rescued when that guy was attacked. Carrington went with him to the station. Me and my sister, me and my daughter drove behind him. This is 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to get him home safely. At some point, the police came out and asked us what we're doing there, and suggest that it's not a good thing, Dr. Hinds, for you to be in front of a police station at 2 o'clock in the morning. So me and my daughter went back to the place, the Parliament, to wait for Freddie there. Freddie come out to the station and then he goes straight home. He later learned that we were there waiting at the People's Parliament. We couldn't wait in front of it. He knows that, yet he put a story in the paper crying, David has left me at Brickdown Police Station and go away. And he knows that is not true. Norman, I notice you repeating the nonsense. That is the story, Norman Brown. Everybody know Freddie's a coward. Everybody know at 10 o'clock, no matter where you're there with Freddie are going to pee. Next thing you look around for Freddie gone. Don't, after 10 o'clock, you can't get, there's a standing joke with all his friends. And he get vexed because he said publicly, this is a man that abuses people, their family, and everybody every day in that papers. And because you say he's a coward, he start to cry. This is a man who called for me to be killed the other day. And you just say he's a coward and he crying, just like the PPP. They're doing all things. All they say, don't buy black Putin in thing. And the PPP ministers are gone crazy. It's one of them, Dharam Lal, who send the thing to me. I tell him, I say, Mr. Minister, good morning. I notice you quoting from me. And I'm very glad you do because I have something to teach you. But I wish you play the whole program to your people them so they can be educated like you. He said, good morning, Mr. Hinds, nothing else. And I want to say to Mr. Dharam Lal or any one of them, that whenever they're ready to come to talk to me, they can come and talk to me. I'm not a monster. I'm flesh and blood in every man's chest. They beats a heart. Bob Marley says so. I have a heart in my chest, just like you all. And if you all are going to mess with black people, you all will always hear from me in your face, in your face. Sister Joan Cambridge said, black people gotta stop talking in whispers. And she's right. Don't mess with black people. Do not mess with black people. You hear? Because I'll be in your face. They also preach violence. Violence is being preached by the PPP. Violence is being committed by the PPP. Violence is being provoked by the PPP. It's the PPP that killed 400 black men in 23 years. Not evidence. The PPP got violence on its brains. I just say undermine. That's how we do it. We don't say kill people and jail people. All we just say is undermine. And they're sensible. They know undermine is not violence. They know what undermine is. You see, if we say violence, then it's easy, it's easy. Violence solves nothing. It solves nothing. It solves nothing. All that violence does is that it makes the problem more compound. It compounds the problem. It makes the problem worse. And in 2021, I am not going to preach violence to black people or to Guyanese. It will not solve our problem. But I'm not going to preach cowardice either. I'm not. I'm going to say to black people, use your agency to defend yourself. Use what you have. They want your money. However small it is, they want it. Without your money, they will not get rich. Whether they get it through the government or they get it when you buy from them, it's your money that makes them rich. And I'm saying that Black people make sacrifices to people like me. People like me. Tremendous sacrifices. Tremendous sacrifices. And I am repaying Black people by standing up and encouraging them to stand up. Don't bend. Don't. You all are people too. And I want the monitors to tell them David Hinds say that. Again, I say the average poor Indian lady or poor Indian man is not your enemy. Not your enemy. Not your enemy. It's the powerful, the elites, and they like to hide behind poor people. But they thought that they had the opposition in a corner. They thought because the parliamentarians couldn't speak out. They thought because the PNC has some internal problems. They thought because the coalition built in, they believed that we would not have found a voice. But the God above, he not sleep. God not sleep. And because we have found our voices, because we have found our voice, they now want us to be, all of a sudden, oh God, David Hinds, I get nobody to support me. WPA get 2 members who are support David Hinds. All of a sudden, this David Hinds, who got no support, causing people for Bandung, for Bandung police station. All of a sudden, David Hinds, causing people not for buy black button, a man report. All of a sudden, David Hinds is powerful. Make up your mind. David Hinds and Mark Benchop and Rickford Burke and Gavin Matthews and Brother Duncan, you all decide whether we don't have any influence. Ramson said, Black people are their role model. That's what Ramson said. Black people do not have role models. The PPP will create role models for us. Quite apart from that, he's a mannish, disrespectful little boy. And you just got to deal with disrespectful little boy different. But I don't want to biggie up. All I want to say that what he has said, that is government policy. That is government policy. And as we said the other night, when Sister Timona and Brother Nigel and Brother Shama Solomon and I were on Mark program, we said thank you. Thank you for coming out into the open space and talking your truth. Now we know the truth. We're going to respond to your truth. Now we know we got role models. We know that. We know that. We know that. We got more role models than is good for us. So we don't want to dwell on that. We got role models. We teach Guyana. We teach Guyana. We humanize Guyana. We made it possible that those who came after us will come to Guyana as free people. We fed Guyana. We give Guyana music. The calypso, the reggae, We give Guyana and the West Indies culture. We got role models. They know that because some of our role models are their role models. They know that. So it's not role models they're talking about. What the bill by means to say is that we are still slaves. And I want to say to him, if a slave you want, a slave you're going to get. Because if you want to use our race to dehumanize us, we are left with no choice than to use our race to humanize ourselves. And what that means, Ramson, is that we not spend any money on your role models. We didn't grow up and see we father with suit and tie. We grew up and we see women tying their head and putting the basket on their head and going to the market and going to the back dam and coming out and producing us, producing me. We wake up in the morning and we see our men folk, they paddle the bateau and Ghana back down. We see our men folk and our women folk at age 16, 17, and 18, barely finished school, dressing in the morning and going to the schools to teach Guyana. That's what we grow up and see. We grow up and see our men, wherever they can find a little spot, with a razor blade and a comb, styling our hair, barbers, and our women with their bare hands, taking the natural hair and weaving them into patterns. They are our role models. We are human beings. We are. And that's what you're questioning, our humanity. You're questioning our humanity. A little twit who don't know left from right. Up there. And that boy on in St. Jam shaking his head, yes, yes. So, thank you, Ramson. We got work to do. We got work to do. We have to affirm our humanity every day, every minute, every hour of the day. See, they take advantage of us. They take advantage of a very honest streak in our people. As Black people, we are the conscience of this world. We are the ones who know right from wrong more than others because so much wrongs have been done to us. We can smell advantage when it starts taking them. You go to any Black community, when I was growing up until up to now, even if Black people get taken advantage, beating a little Indian boy on the street, Black people go to his rescue. Don't beat the boy. That's our humanity. That's our humanity. We took our hard-earned money after slavery and lent to our former masters who went bankrupt. That's our humanity. Moses Nagamutu was our prime ministerial candidate. We treat him with much dignity and love as much as Brother David. We are human beings with a supreme love in our hearts. Brother Bob said, every time I hear the crack of a whip, my blood runs cold. But they brutalize our very soul out of that brutality comes a supreme form of love. And sometimes other races take that for granted. They believe it's soft. But other race would take out their breasts and feed it to the children of their enslavers. Black women did that. That's love. I grew up in a village, a little boy, in the midst of all the racial disturbance in the 60s. Buxtonian said, Mr. Chandaban, you are the dispenser in this village. Take care of our children when they're sick. We will protect you and you are not leaving here. I said to Mr. Rupchan, the goldsmith, his son, Clyde Rupchan, teach me at school that you all are human beings, and in spite of this disturbance, you all serve us, and you all are staying here. In the midst of racial violence, Black people stand up and defend Indians in their communities. It's a supreme form of love. I'm not saying that we didn't do craziness during the disturbance. Black people do craziness. Indian people do craziness. But in the midst of the craziness, Black people stood up and protect Indian people. And you, Ramsey, gonna tell me about role models? Role models? Role models? We got more role models to give to the rest of the world. And I want you all Black people to start preaching your story without any qualifications. Start preaching your story without any qualifications. Because your story is a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. And people take our humanity for granted. They believe because we show love, we are weak. And they can take their past us. Let me start doing what we gotta do. Let me start doing what we gotta do. We're not shopping. We're not shopping crazy no more. We're not going to integrate our 2 pennies until others integrate their 2 pennies. We're not going to integrate our pennies until the burden of nationality is a joint burden. It's a burden to be borne by all races. We not by ourselves, we can bring about national unity. We have to have people to work with. We have to have the other side to work with. I'm tired of people taking us for granted, sitting up there with a stranger, a little boy who don't know yet from his toe and talking nonsense, an entire race of people who made it possible for him to sit there in his, you know what. The other ethnic groups have not said enough thanks to us. And we don't demand that they say thanks to us for what we did. The tens of thousands of shovels of dirt that we dug to build, to dig those canals up and down Guyana, say thanks to us. Say thanks to us. Don't tell us about we don't have role models. Go down on your knees and say thanks. We created villages We created village councils. We build our churches. We build our schools. Say thanks to us. Say thanks to us. We teach your children. We hold their hand and teach them how to write. Teach them how to read. And you are telling us we don't have Roman. Say thanks to us. That's what you ought to be doing. But we black people, we have not demanded our thanks. We are not angels. Black people, we have done stupidness. We have committed our fair share of wrongs. We have come short. We have sinned. But we are not the only sinners in the world. We have not. And we must not carry the burden of the worst. We're not better than anybody, but nobody's better than us. We're not better than other races, but other races are not better than us. And I'm saying, tell your children, do not be ashamed of their skin color. Tell your children that. Look them in their eyes. I thank God every day for a man named E.U.C. Kwayana. I grew up as a little boy. You talk about but grown mothers. He walked that village. He walked Guyana. He didn't have to say a word. He didn't have to say a word. Tall, black, stately, spoke softly. But all of us knew that was the epitome of love and model. You tell us about role model? Role model? Say thanks for U.C. Kwayana. Say thanks for Burnham. I've had my problems with Burnham. You all know that. But I'm walking all over the place as though he's the devil incarnate. He made his mistakes. And he paid for his mistakes in his lifetime. Black people like myself said to him, no, Mr. Burnham, you're making a wrong turn, you're wrong. Yes, Mr. Burnham, jail people like me. Yes. But for you all, Indian brothers and sisters, to believe that he was a devil. And when you all say he's a devil, you all don't mean he, Burnham, is a devil. You mean black people are devils. We have allowed ourselves, my brothers and sisters, we have allowed ourselves to be walked upon. We have allowed ourselves to be walked upon, and we've got to stop it. We've got to stop it. We've got to stop it. Some black brother or sister is going to write me some nonsense after the show and say, Dr. Hinds, you're something, 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 and I get an Indian wife and so on and thing. Your Indian wife is your personal business. You fall in love with whoever you want to fall in love, but you're black. Like Esther Spears, as they say, and that means something. You measure your life by how many Indian wives you have. That's what our foreparents came out of slavery. For you to boast about how many Indian wives you have, and because you have an Indian wife, you can't say, I am black and beautiful. What kind of fool are you? I don't have to come on this program and talk about my Indian friends and so on. Let me say one thing. The last time I checked, Rupert Rupnaraine, Dr. Rupert Rupnaraine was the leader of the WPA, the only party I ever joined. An Indian man is my leader. This racist David Hinds have no problem with an Indian man being my leader. Dr. Rupert Rupnaraine, I love him. It is not your Indianness, is what you use your Indianness to do. That is the problem. That is the problem. It's not your Indianness. Oh, David Hinds don't like Indian people. David Hinds do not like unjust Indian people. David Hinds don't like unjust any people. Indian, black, blue, or brown. Brother Alan Fenty or Burnham JLU, why you're this? I don't walk around and talk about my suffering. I enter politics, and I'm in politics, and in politics, it's a struggle. But if you are going to use Burnham to say to black people you're evil, I'm going to have to claim Burnham then. And I'm claiming Burnham tonight. Who don't like it, go to hell. I'm claiming Burnham, just as I'm claiming Rodney, just as I'm claiming Rupnaraine and Clive Thomas and Andaye and Rupert Rupnaraine and Moses Bagwan. I'm claiming them. They are my political heroes and heroines. I'm claiming Burnham. Not because Burnham was without fault, but if you all are going to make him the devil and using him to say we are devils, oh no, I'm going to claim him. I'm going to claim him. I have my problems with Brother David Granger. But if you all try to nasty him because he's a black man, the problems will go away. They're Indian people. Some of them are my friends. They don't like Jagdeo. They think that he's not befitting of a Jagan kind of leaders. They've made peace with the PPP. They hold their nose and fought for the PPP under Jagdeo. And I know they don't like him. They can hold me nose and join a coalition with the PNC. You can do it. And I can't do it. You can forgive those who you think on your side that have done bad, but I can't forgive people on my side who I think have done bad. I'm tired of this nonsense about telling me about what Burnham did to me. And so I must be muzzled by that. Brothers, this is a new politics. We're up against something that is dreaded in this society. Something that is very dreaded in this society. Very dreaded. Anyhow, we're going to take some calls. We're going to take some calls tonight. We're going to take some calls tonight. We're going to take some calls. My brother put the number on. We're going to take some calls. We're going to take some calls tonight. Because look, we got to fight back and we got to keep fighting. We got to keep fighting. We got to keep fighting here. Right? Role models, Role models, let's talk. Let's talk to them about role models. Let's talk to them about leaders. Let's talk to them. Let's talk to them. There's a protest plan for tomorrow at Ramson's office. I will put up the flag. Yes, there's a protest at Ramson's office. Go down there and let him see your faces. Let him see your black faces. They want to enslave us again. No chains around my feet, but I'm not free. Please call us at 604-9722. 604-9722 tomorrow night on Politics 101. The trade unionists are going to be on. Brother Lincoln, Brother Norris Witter, Sister Coretta, and another sister just told me is going to be on. The trade unionists are coming to talk about that 7% because we're not letting them get away with it. Sister Eslyn Harris is going to be on. So Sister Coretta McDonald, Sister Eslyn Harris, Brother Lincoln Lewis, and Brother Norris Witter, the Vice President of the Trade Union Congress. They're going to be on and the trade unionists are going to talk. Thursday, I think we're going to have my friend on, who was running for the leadership of the PNC, my friend Basil, is going to be on. You all show Basil some love. Show Basil some love. All right? Basil is going to be on Thursday to talk about his candidacy for leadership of the PNC. So that's our lineup. We're going to have a few more people that we're going to talk about. But give us a call. Let's get the views. We have a couple minutes to go. 592-604-9722. 9722. And let these people understand. Let them understand that we are human beings too. Let them understand that what they're questioning and what they're challenging is our humanity. That's what they're challenging. Our humanity. They can talk to we anyhow. Tell we who they want to give money to a few black people and sell us, those are your role models. No, role models emerge from the dynamics of the community. You can't impose role models on the community. Ramson need to go in the Indian communities and help them with role models. That's where he's needed. Leave us to take care of black people. We can take care of our business. We don't want Ramson. I will never set myself up to believe I can go into Indian communities and tell them who their leaders should be and who their role models should be. I will never take my eyes and pass Indian people like that. But just believe that they can tell me who our leaders, the black leadership has failed the black community. Let us say that ourselves. If our black leaders have failed us, we can say that, we can deal with that. We have enough brains in our community. Education is our birthright. 2, you are going to create role models for the black community. You're going to create. So there we have it, sisters and brothers. As we prepare to end this year, we are ending it on a high. They thought and they boasted. They don't have opposition. Like I said, there's got beg for opposition. And now that they have opposition, they're complaining. They're crying like little babies. Oh, they got jail. Oh, they got this. They got that. And so forth. You know? Because they didn't expect that out of the ashes of the crushing of last year, we will rise. We will rise. We will rise. And for our Indian brothers and sisters, you have a caller?
Doc, we have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Dr. Hinds, this is Selwyn Peters, Buxtonian.
Hi, my brother. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And Dr. Hinds, look, I mean, Mr. Charles Ramson was totally out of place, and I wanted him to call me so I can let him have a piece of my mind, but he hasn't called me yet. Certainly, you know, I could call out 101 black role models without having to look at a piece of paper. Guyana, the PPP keep talking about, it's either politics or race. And they're the people that are stoking the fire of racial division and racial antagonism. And certainly that is what Ramson did the other day. And he ought to come clean, he ought to withdraw his statement, and he ought to apologize.
Yes. Is Brother Selwyn still on there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, brother. Go on. Go ahead. It's your floor.
And let me make it clear that in Guyana and around the world has generated black wealth and has taught their offsprings and their siblings and their families and their friends how to generate black wealth. Not only the United States or Canada or Guyana or Trinidad, all over the world. So Mr. Ramson's statement was quite nonsensical, and you're rightfully condemning it. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. And as we say, our fight is not against Indian people. Our fight is against Indian wickedness in high and low places. And those black people who enable them, they are in the same bucket. And those black businesses that enable the PPP, be boycotting you too.
We have another caller.
Yes, go ahead, brother, sister.
Good night. I just want to say that the Its and Jammers and all of them, they're a part and parcel of this, because what Ramson is actually saying to them, that they are not role models either. So when they sat there and they listen, he's slapping them in the faces even so, because I'm quite certain that all of them are from different communities. Each and every one of them. So when he's saying, that's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sister. Thank you very much. And it's good to hear a young voice, a young female voice, because our young people have to take up this struggle too. You all have to take it up. You all cannot be complacent. Yes, there are things that you all enjoy in the society today that your parents didn't enjoy, your grandparents didn't enjoy. They struggled so that you all can enjoy those privileges. But that little privilege that you have now, blind your eyes against the reality that your black skin is still seen by others as not being equal to them. So I'm glad to hear a young sister lending her voice here tonight. And I know that there are young people in the audience. Don't be afraid to speak up. Now is the time. Because if we do not speak up today, tomorrow we will not have a voice.
You have another caller. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Yes.
Good night to the entire listening public, to Dr. Hinds and his moderator. Now, the thing that Ramson said, you will be a bit annoyed with me, because I believe that first caller, a few months back, he was talking that when the election and the matter, I think, went to the CCJ, he was in agreement for the regime to have a go at ruling the country. Well, I hope he now understands and is happy to see what he allowed to be inflicted on the black people. He should not be annoyed now. He should say, well, I was one who was glad for them to rule. The next point is that I will not succumb or bow down to any of those people, because we came here as slaves. We started the world. Black people, no other race can make black man. Only black could make black. That's one. And I have a thing I would say that when we go to speak of ourselves, stop calling ourselves black man and black woman. Call ourselves Africans. Africans came from Africa. We came from Africa. Let us be proud to say we are Africans. Because by we allowing to call ourselves black, people eyes pass us. And when it comes to role model, from the days when we go into slavery, coffee and Atta were our role models. They fought for our removal from slavery. And men like Kofi and Atta and many other slaves who rebelled against slavery are role models for us to follow. Now in our village, we got a man by the name of McFarlane Curry. He was the first village father, and he brought in to the then British Guyana the movement like the village overseer and chairman, and he was the person who started the internal business of villages coming together and looking out. That now we got neighborhood committees, or like what goes on at the village office. There was a black man, an African, who did that. We got Forbes Burnham, Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. Everybody knew of him. We go down the road, we got people like Booker T. Washington and them. And look the other day, Barack Hussein Obama. America never saw a president like that. And they don't know when again they will see a president of Barack Obama stature, qualifications, and his pristine character. His character, don't matter how America questioned it, they could not have found fault with it. And even after when he was being inaugurated the first time, the man who was reading his charge to him, for him to repeat that oath, made a mistake. And the next day, his wife, another black woman, another African, turned to him and said, repeat this oath the right way, so that in later days they don't say you repeat the oath wrong, and on a technicality, you were not the fourth, I can't remember the fourth president or the 45th president of the United States of America. So for Ramson, We the Africans got lots of role models. We taught them when they were here, plant them behind the rice bed. Don't go to school. Not enough for walking shoes. Not enough for wear panty. Not enough for eat food. It's the Africans taught them. Barnum had welfare officer running in them rice beds, going to schools and carrying the parents to court if possible to have them get an education. That is what African man they doing. What did they do? When Barnum was there, he had school free from university to nursery to tertiary, and he made certain everybody had a fair share. The white people they know them, that they had the schools like Bishops, QC, Saints, Stanislaus and Roses, and St. Joseph out of their reach, because they didn't used to go to no church, and Barnum was the one who said, let me open up the school that everybody, once you make the marks, you go. We had places like President College and them. Now they've got Muslim school and they got Hindu school. And what are those schools? When you check it out, those schools are destroying them. The private schools destroy them. Because a child going to sit down and study for 20 subjects. You know what you're doing to the child? A time gonna come and all of them children gonna fail. I had a daughter who wrote 9 subjects at CXC, 7 grade 2, grade 1 in English, and grade 3 in Spanish. And let me tell you, Dr. Hinds, it was hard not only on my daughter, on me, because I used to got to sit down. Church around to wake me up at midnight. And when I call me daughter at midnight, and I hear she talk in a language when none of you know, I used to got to sit down out in the dew to keep me awake. Wake you up 1 o'clock, and she talk in the same language. I got to sleep. Next morning, she would cry. Why? I said, no, you're going to make it. And that was the 9 subjects. That is what they try to do. And all of them we see going on writing 20 and 40 subjects. Wait to see what's going to happen. So, Ramson, we are role models to ourselves. And I know none like you cannot lead me. I'm a black woman. I'm an African. And I'm a proud African woman. And I subject myself to no other race. I am superior as an African. That is my talk tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, there you have it, everyone weighing in, and we have a right to stand up when these chaps are looking us in our faces and try to tell we're inferior to them. Do we have another caller there?
We have another caller. We have a lot of callers. Go ahead, caller.
All right.
Yes, okay. Good evening, Dr. Hinds. I know where to start, but sometimes, with this conundrum, you quite don't know where to start. Because Ramson had said some things that need to be straightened out, and that's what you straighten out. But this issue stems back to President Granger. Ultimately, it goes back to him dropping the ball, not staying and holding the ground. And a result of that, we are having this what you call political hemorrhaging. Okay? Neil Boston had made the point when he went to court. Brooks and George told him, there is no way to prove prejudice. You will have to deal with that at the election petition. You'll have to wait until the process is over to determine if or not, whether or not the persons who casted their votes were or are indeed prejudiced. You have to wait until the election petition process. Well, we are at the election petition process. And I think even Stevie Wonder can see the degree of prejudice that has resulted because of the process has been constitutional due processes. We are now in the phase of prejudices. For those lawyers who want to talk, Roxanne George wants to consider, have the people of Guyana been sufficiently prejudiced by what's going on, Roxanne George? And Madam Cummins, Chancellor, when you listen to shows like this across the diaspora, when you see policies that are currently unfolding, do you believe that now there is sufficient constitutional prejudice as a result of constitutional processes being violated? So I just want to make that point, because we are heading to the courts and we're in the courts. And you may say, well, you know, this is not about courts tonight, this is about Ramson. Right? And Ramson is having this discussion because of what Granger failed to do. And I'm having now to talk about prejudice because of the situation that Granger and Jack Deal placed us into when they unlawfully violated the Constitution. So as much as it doesn't appear to be about Granger and it appears to be about Ramson, it's not that cut and dry. Now, let me talk about Ramson. Ramson has to sit and appreciate that as much as people may not like African Americans fought for every war in the United States. Christopher Atticus was the first one to run up on the boat in the Boston Tea Party, a black man, when the war started against the British. I'm making a point about the relevance of black people, and we must pay homage and respect for their accomplishments as black people being the trailblazers for the benefits that we benefit today. When East Indians came to Guyana, they came to Guyana and benefited from a country that was liberated by black people. Okay? I want to, my Amerindian brothers, I respect them, but the Amerindian brothers did not liberate Guyana, but Africans. Okay? And East Indians came and they got salary. They came to find employment. Running from caste in India, running from their own indigenous Indian caste and prejudice for the last 3,000 years they had it over there. They're running from that. And they come to Guyana to seek refuge in the bosom of black victory. Right, Ramson? Right, Gail Teixeira? Right, Nandalal? Okay, that's the reality. That's the fact. You sought refuge in the bosom of our victory in Guyana. And then you got salary on top of that. Now you got audacity. Right? To ignore those accomplishments. And you feel because you come and among hits and jams. You could hit them and jam them. You could hit them and jam them. Right? And because you feel you could hit them and jam them, now you could ride on their backs. But maybe they like it so. Right? But we want you to know that we have role models and we will not be dictated to on matters that concern our spirituality, our African Guyanese identity, our right to determine for ourselves what is beneficial to us, rather than having some people who have proven since Arp and Jat that they are not in our best interest. So it behooves us to get people like Dr. Hinds and Ford Burnham and Walter Rodney to tell us about us. But we cannot say that we have developed enough confidence in a party that has facilitated ARP and Jat Guyana. Okay? We cannot say we got enough confidence in our East Indian people who have been discriminated against their own East Indian people for the last 3,000 years in India, and they continue to propagate that caste in Guyana and continue to see the socio-political space in Guyana through the spectacles of Indian caste still in 2021. And then expect to acquiesce that maybe because Ramson's father was a lawyer, maybe he's got some brilliance from the sky for
Yeah.
us. I doubt that seriously, Mr. Ramson. So you have to understand your place. Your place probably could be the Mandir. You could talk to them in the Mandir. But your people, particularly the PNC, have the worst track record in the Western Hemisphere for our Panjat. And our Panjat, let me say something. Our Panjat wasn't coincidence. Our Panjat was imported as a resident of Indian caste. So you have continued that same dysfunctional ideology from Indian caste.
All right, my brother. I know you got a lot to say, but we got some other callers are waiting, and we are past program time. But your points are well taken. So if you can wrap up and let's get in a couple of other people.
We lost him, Doc. We have another caller.
All right. Go ahead. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Good night, Doc.
Good night.
So I just want to put in a few pieces here. Now, so to some extent, we cannot think too badly of this little boy Ramson. When I say we cannot think too badly of him, because he grew up seeing role models as people who only acquire wealth. And for those Indians who he has been adoring, they have acquired wealth through all means, nefarious or otherwise. So when he made that nonsensical statement, he is trying to allude something similar for black people. Black people studied and acquired the wealth through academics. Look at all the Indians in there, the wealthy ones. And we can see 99% of them didn't acquire it through fair means. I can call from Maserati to Cayman Sanka, you name them, the lumber magnates, the rice magnates, they all did drugs. And they acquire fabulous wealth, and that's what they see as role models. Your wealth, your achievements in wealth, when you kill their parents or they kill their grandparents or they rob a bank or they corrupt a nation, they corrupt a system, to them, Jackie will be a perfect example of a role model. That nefarious individual, that racist element. So when he says these things, that's his culture. And we have to understand that. He cannot deviate from his way of life. That's his culture. They said before, we heard it last year for the last or sometime there. Acquire wealth by any means. The largest drug bust. The most corruption in terms of theft of state assets and so forth, etc. That's what this guy means. Our understanding of role model is two different concepts, one for the Indians and one for the blacks. We have to understand that. So in his own little narrow world, we have to understand where he's coming from. So getting a law degree doesn't mean anything because that's how they think. So we have to understand this thing. That's where the paradigm has to shift. These people is their culture. And for those black people who grew up in that 30 years of UP, mentality. So we have to do a lot of work to realign them in the right direction. That's how Indians see it. At any cost, at any means, just get it. Look at the one who used to supply Jackie with all the materials, Ahmed. They rob their life out of people in real estate in Queens. That's what they do. They have all the fancy cars and everything. They are the role models. How the hell people with some stained character you could glorify? Well, we don't have those kind of black people in Guyana. Black people are not used to those kind of things. Yeah, when they are little small pockets may do something illegal. But look at it in the entire Guyana. Look at the people who are amassing those wealth. That couldn't come from a 9 to 5, not under the sun. They can fool who they want to fool. But those who dare to know, no. That's all I have to say, Doc. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another caller there, my brother.
Not at the moment.
Okay. So I think that will be our last call. We have another call. We have any other callers there?
Not yet, Doc.
All right. All right. I want to thank you all for staying with us tonight. I want to thank all the loyal viewers and listeners. I think it has been quite a program. We had to let our steam out tonight. We have to always be standing there and standing up for ourselves. None but ourselves can free our minds. I want to say to my Indian brothers and sisters, you all got to say to your leaders, you cannot talk to another group like that. You all have got to stand up, because in standing up against the racism on another group, you're standing up for yourselves. To the media monitors who have been with us tonight and monitoring the program, I hope that you all have learned a thing or two. I hope that the time you all are spent looking to see whether we are preaching violence, that you spend that time doing something else, because you're not going to find that here. We are a cultured people, and we are a people who understand our duty. Until the next time, until tomorrow evening, when I will have a full panel of trade unionists who will deal with the 7%. I'll see you then. Those of you who are early risers, I'll be on Kedaki in the morning at 7 o'clock, so you can catch me there. But tomorrow night, Politics 101. Politics 101 would be that 7% from the standpoint of the trade unionists. See you all. Enjoy your evening. Say hi to Sherrod. You're all going over a little late, but say hi to him. And those of you I know going over to Mark, tell Mark to say plenty howdy, because he's bringing down the curtain at 9 o'clock. Good night.
Please help keep Politics 101 on social media and broadcast television. If you are in North America, please donate via Cash App or PayPal.
If you are in Guyana and the Caribbean and don't have access to Cash App and PayPal, email your pledge to dhinds6106@aol.com and we will direct you how to get your donation to us. Thank you in advance for your donation.